What's up, everybody? How are you doing? It is Thursday, and you know what that means when Thursday rolls around. It is time for another Love Entrepreneurs show where
Whoop,
a
whoop.
great panel of phenomenal individuals get together and share their wisdom and expertise in all things growing, maintaining business. Today is no different. Look at if you look around the grid, we got some great faces, some of them familiar, some of them new. We're gonna get to know Cheryl, who's hanging out with us today. I don't have my applause and all of that stuff ready, the sound effects today, but we'll get you next time though. We'll get some.
Oh,
That'll
great.
work. So
Hey, the real deal. Very
indeed,
good.
we got the real applause today instead of the sound effects. So that'll
Go
work.
figure.
Listen, let's jump in. Let's jump straight in. For those of you who might be watching now or watching the replay, make sure you share this with your network. Today, we're talking about helping young entrepreneurs. All of us understand and know what it was like when we were first starting out. Some of us were young when we started out. Some of us were not so young when I started out, but we started out nonetheless, right? And so
Yeah.
there's a passion, there's a fire that we have to make sure that we are paying it forward, that we are passing the torch, if you will, that we are sharing with those that are coming up under us so that they are able to navigate the business landscape with some level of success. So before we get into that topic and we get into Cheryl, she did the big fix. Those of you who know who Love Entrepreneurs is, you know that we're big on the big fix. So before we do that, let's talk about what Love Entrepreneurs is real quick. Love Entrepreneurs is a business fellowship that is full of individuals who just love to see ordinary people build extraordinary businesses. We do that with something called the Big Fix, which is our signature dish. We'll talk a little bit about that a little later on in the show. But let's start out with some introductions. Chivalry is not dead, so we're going to start with the women in the group. We're going to start with Cheryl and then Lisa and then Eleri. We'll go to Rob and then Peter. Briefly introduce who you are, and then we'll jump into the topic for tonight.
All right. So, good day, everyone. I'm Cheryl Davis, mother of five, teacher, lecturer, and a graphic designer, artist, as my side hustle, as they would say. And I came to the Big Fix this week, and I'm excited.
That has a lot to it. We're gonna unpack that
Yes.
a little later.
Yes.
Welcome. Thank you for that. Thank you. Lisa is in the house.
Good evening, everyone from Central Pennsylvania. My name is Lisa Brown. I am founder and CEO of Solutions via Carulian LLC. We are a solutions firm and business innovation firm who services both the public and private sector. And very excited, we have our program coming out for self optimization so that you can learn all about your body, our physiology, and science for the professional because there's some basic things that we need to know that's going to make a profound difference in our business future. So that's what I do.
I love it. I love it. And be on the lookout for some stuff that Lisa has in the works. You're gonna want to be a part of it. Indeed. Eleri Cosslett. Eleri is the brainchild behind the Love Entrepreneurs Fellowship. Tell us who you are, even though I just did. But go ahead. You can
Yeah,
do it.
you just did. I'm actually an AI creation. I endorse AI. I love AI, and I can now talk exactly like celery. Oh, that's how I know it's AI because my name is Larry. Well, some people call me Allery, so that does rhyme with celery. But anyway, no. On a serious note, yeah, I created Love Entrepreneurs because on my entrepreneurial journey, what I wanted to do was create a fellowship where people would come together to share their experience, strength, and hope with each other so that we can all become better business people because we need to learn from younger people. They are the future. We are going to be the dinosaurs soon, but they can learn from us, and it's creating that fellowship of love, humanity, and compassion where there is no hierarchy. We're all the same and we can all learn from each other. So, and I also run Silvertree here in the UK, and I love funding businesses. So that's
That's awesome, and we're going to talk about that too, because part of the information that we want to provide for those that are entrepreneurs, not just young entrepreneurs, but entrepreneurs in general. Everybody's looking for funding. Everyone needs funding. Funding is a key component to moving the needle in your business, and you have a phenomenal opportunity that Silvertree presents. And so I'm sure that will come up in our conversation later on. Who we got next? We got Rob Howze, and then we got Peter Russell.
Well, how's it going, everybody? Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are watching this from. You know, just like it says under my name here, too much on your plate, simply automate. So I'm an automation guy. A lot of times we don't realize there's so many things that we don't have to do that we are doing. So me being myself, we being my company, we help identify that stuff, help take the stress away from you. So, and I've been able to build some relationships with love entrepreneurs. Through my big fix, I was able to find some, you don't know what you don't know. So a lot of times when you get ideas from other people, you can then build upon those ideas. And I got a lot of them. So Cheryl's going to share what she got and what she learned and gained from the big fix experience. And so I'm ending with what my benefit was. And that was an expansion of mine. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for being here, Mr. Rob Howze. The great Peter Russell.
Hello, everyone. My name is Peter Russell. Yes, and I'm a sales trainer and business coach. My job is to provide aspiring entrepreneurs with the education that's required to learn how to build a business, because you ain't going to get significant change in your life through your 9 to 5. So you need to learn how to build a business, then the second one, third one, etc., etc. So you can then use the proceeds of those businesses to buy assets that will later fund the lifestyle you really want.
Yes.
And you can rest assured that that lifestyle is going to be sustainable, because no one's going to be able to take those things off you.
Awesome. I love it. And a lot of that knowledge that you have based on how you serve the world is going to be valuable to today's discussion. Those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Oliver Marcel, speaker, author, and coach in the relationship building and men's enrichment spaces, author of the book, Overcoming the Man Laws for the Man Who Wants to Be His Best, despite what he was taught. Also facilitating in other areas as a voiceover artist and a designer of sorts, not a Cheryl designer. I'm okay. I'm okay. We got an expert in the house, so I'm gonna fall back a little bit on that one. Video editing and all things social media content creation as well. Let's jump into this conversation. We're talking about helping young entrepreneurs to navigate the business landscape, and I want to toss this maybe to Eleri and Lisa, and then everybody else can take a swing at it. When you hear that title, what's the first thing that comes to mind in terms of this is something that they have to know?
Lisa, do you want to go first?
When you hear what exactly?
When you hear the title of helping young entrepreneurs to navigate the business landscape, what's the first thing that pops in your mind? You're like, yeah, they need to know that.
Mindset. You can't really build on an idea when you don't first have an idea of the end result. What is your ideal goal for your company? What does it look like? What does it smell like? Who's there? What are you wearing? You need to have a mental picture of your accomplished goal, and you build from there. So that requires a bit of imagination now, right? Even though, we're not like children anymore, but to be successful in business, that imagination is a necessity. So we have to learn how to, if you don't have an active imagination, it's going to be a bit harder for you, but you have to hone into that creativity, that, that part of your brain that will help you to mold and build that end result. That way you have something to work towards. For somebody like me, who's a big kid, I kept my childhood throughout my entire adulthood. So it wasn't too much of a stretch for me, because I am the most serious person and the most silliest person I've ever come across. And I'm able to be objective with myself. This is why I was able to host stand-up comedy shows and, do the things that I've done in the past. So funny is important, and being able to not be so serious sometimes, as well as being able to be serious when you need to. So it's a nice little balance of everything, because we can't be all business all day and you can't be all funny all day. You have to have a balance, right? Because that's how the universe works. You have to have a balance. So mindset is first and foremost in my perspective, because you got to build from something. And if your brain is not correct from the very beginning, then your foundation is already faulty.
I love it. Mindset. So we're starting.
That's my domain, right?
I should have known when I tossed it to Lisa we were going to start at the top.
But honestly,
that's where we should start, right? And that's where we should start. Our head has to be in the right place, indeed, and that is something that I would say that if you are able to really do some intentional work in the beginning, it will save you some hoops that you may jump through if you try to do this after you jump in, because getting into entrepreneurship is you want to talk about a journey that's going to take you through the wash machine, if you will, of self-development. It is going to be entrepreneurship.
Spin cycle.
It's going to be entrepreneurship. And so if you can prepare for what that is ahead of time by having your mindset right, that's going to be a good thing. So I love that. Anybody else want to
preparedness meets opportunity. That's the thing to remember. If you already kind of ahead, like be a step or two ahead of the game and be prepared, then you'll be surprised how the opportunities just come to you, because it's like you already have it together. So preparedness meets opportunity. Be ready. When the opportunity comes, you're already because you already have it set up in your mind already.
Somebody said that's the definition of luck. Preparedness and opportunity meet.
Yes. Yeah.
I like it. What? So go ahead, Eleri.
I would say, right, and I've been doing this a long time now. I'm long in the tooth, right? I would say mindset 100%, but I'd also say that young people, because I was that, too, once upon a time, many moons ago, as I keep being reminded by my daughter, learning. Plan for success. When I say plan for success, scope it out on a piece of paper. Get the learning in. Go hire the people that you need to hire, a coach to sort of help you step through the journey. Do not try. Well, you can do it on your own, because hey, we've all done it on our own and we failed. And one of the reasons that we do this in Love Entrepreneurs is we can show people the value of learning from people who've already failed before you, trying to do what you're doing, not because your idea is rubbish. And it's very rare that an idea is totally rubbish. It's not about that. It'll be about attitude. It'll be about that mindset. It will be that will to carry on regardless of what everybody out there tells you. You've got to have that mind, completely tickety-boo. But you've got to also take the learning from others and be prepared to put the hours in. And rather than just, contempt prior to investigation, you often hear me say that, don't be contemptuous of people who are older than you or different from you or have different experiences from you, and just to, decry them as just pointless. They don't know what they're talking about. Take something from everybody and make it your own. Because everybody has something to give you. Everybody. So don't just shut it out just because I'm a dinosaur, okay?
Mm-hmm. The limiting beliefs will just cripple you.
That's good.
That's good.
Mindset.
That is good.
Continuous learning.
That is good. Listen, for the gentleman, Rob and Peter, it's going to be the same question, but I want to phrase it a little bit differently. Is there anything that stands out that you wish someone would have told you when you started the entrepreneurial journey?
Oh yeah, slow down. So I mean, because slowing down actually helps you speed up, and it sounds weird when you first hear it, but slowing down, just a lot of times we get into this mindset that we gotta do things so quick. Now, don't get me wrong, we gotta take action. Like I'm all about ready, fire, aim, right? Because that's a great book. Ready, fire, aim. It means ready, take a shot, and then remix it, review it. Ready, fire, aim instead of ready, aim, fire. Ready, aim, fire is ready, get ready, now we'll go. And a lot of times that's where paralysis analysis takes place. But for the people who don't have paralysis analysis and they just go, sometimes you hate. My grandma used to say, haste makes waste. Sometimes you're moving so fast, you're dropping stuff all over the place. You're just dropping stuff everywhere. And you got this bag of stuff you're taking, and by the time you get to where you're going, you drop half of it on the ground. So it's like, for me, I would have told my younger self, just slow down. Take more breaths in between, Lisa. Hello? Take more breaths in between, because it's when you slow down, it's when discernment kicks in. Discernment only kicks in when you're slowed down. Like, it works when you're on the go, but it really works when you're still. So I would say, take some time, and from there, you'll be able to open your mindset. And as Eleri was saying, continuously learn and grow from your mentors and those around you, and taking those pausations to help you with the future. What do you think, Peter?
I'll continue where Eleri left off. We all already know that attitude's the key, because you can't teach skills any time of a day. You can't teach attitude. Or at least it's very difficult. So I never really understood, or actually I can't say never. For a very long time, I didn't understand when my mentor, Grant Cardone, told me that the harder I work, the luckier I get. and this is exactly what Rob says. Yeah, the preparedness means opportunity. Simply, with the attitude, you are by design creating preparedness. And that also puts you in a position where simply instantly when you see an opportunity, you are able to take advantage of it. Yep. Because you're ready, you're prepared. That's the attitude. So simply creating success by design rather than by accident actually is a thing. So it's all about, as we spoke about here last week, you can't expect that when you will jump out of an airplane, you will figure out how to fly before you hit the ground. Yeah, it ain't gonna happen.
Why? Don't be so defeatist. Don't be so defeatist. Have you tried it? Have you ever tried it? No, there you go.
Okay, let's conclude here that I'm not the one who's going to try this. Yeah, my parents always told me learn from mistakes of others. Yeah, so all right.
Honestly.
Indeed, it is indeed tough, and that's a phrase that is thrown out quite often. It is indeed tough to try to build the plane while you're flying. It is tough. It is, and that's what I was told. That's what the process would be like, and some of that process has been like that for me.
Right.
But I do believe that there's some things that if I had been exposed to them, if I had been told them, if I had been admonished, maybe I would have had more pieces of the plane together before we actually tried to take it. So at
least, you know,
right. We have something. We'd be able to glide at least a little bit, right?
And this is the thing. It's always going to be like this. You will always build the plane as you fly it. However, one thing you need to understand that even the first plane you build has to be airworthy, and then you build a better one, and you just continue rather than first I'll build the gears, not the gears, the landing gear, then I'll build the fuselage, then I'll add the wings. No, it ain't gonna work like this. It's always gonna be a plane yes, a very crude version of it at the beginning. Then you will constantly be improving it. Yeah? So this is what it actually means, building the plane as you fly it. It always has to be able to fly, otherwise you're simply going to kill yourself crashing back to the ground. But simply it's about always knowing, okay, what does it, number one, take to build an airplane? How does it actually need to look? What does it need to be able to do in order to sustain flight? Then do this. When you will learn how to do it, then you will build yourself a better one next time and better one next time. So it's gradual, but always you need to be in the know. What does it actually take? What's required in order to succeed in this particular phase?
Can I just say one thing? I mean, on a serious note, right? Be frivolous about this. But one thing I've learned, probably through working with Peter, actually, and from all the other entrepreneurs, is that actually building a business is a process. So take away the, because people like me, I'm very emotional. I go for the shiny objects and the outcomes. But I've had to learn working with Peter, more of the engineering. This is a process. If you do this, and this, I've also, I think Gower's joined us too. I've learned this from him with branding, and people, that you have to have a process. I'm too keen to get to the
100%.
end because I'll get bored in the process. I'm an ideas person, right? Now, ideas people, like most entrepreneurs are ideas people. What you guys all need is a really shit hot back office. You need the back office team. Because what I've always done, been like Penelope Pitstop, running, with a big whirl of mess behind me, But it's not ideal for to build a sustainable business, right? Because I've left the house of collapsible cards behind me, and I'm learning finally. I'm 53 now. Yeah, I know I look 21, but hey. I'm learning now finally. Oh, there was a delayed laugh there, so we're on AI. I've only just started to learn this now, and this is how difficult it is to. Because somebody said, what would you have liked to have known? I would have liked to have known the importance of when someone told me, learn and listen. Don't overthink, just listen to those who've gone before you, because you will save it up. I would have saved myself years.
So many.
Yes.
So many.
That's good. we got Barry Tate in the house. Barry, thank you for being here. Barry said mindset is so key, and so is environment.
So key.
Young entrepreneurs need to be around people who already have the mindset they would need to develop. He also said that he wishes that someone told him that failure is a key part of the process.
I don't see how what is failure? That's what it's always been for me. And I know I was born different. I'm finally understanding that now. But I was never embarrassed by anything that I tried and failed. It didn't matter that, people were aware, my first comedy show didn't do so great, even though I had, great names. And I was so disappointed, thousands of dollars, it was bad, And then by the second comedy show, right over the top, those were international comedy shows. So it's expensive. I'd fly people from Trinidad, who had Jamaica. I had Errol Fabian. I had Tommy. I had Blacka from Jamaica, and I'm bringing people from Toronto. I had Tricks representing Ghana. So I had these international shows, and that one was phenomenal. Then they do the third one. It was like, So it's like, if I hadn't done these things on my own, the lessons that I learned from each of those shows, and then there was another show before that was not comedy related, but poetry. But had I not done those, the lessons that I learned, I couldn't have learned that in a classroom. There was no classroom. There was no online anything. And this was back over, 2011. So it's been, 12 years since I started that series of shows and things. And the television was like 10 years before that, or 12 years before that. So, all these things that I had done just with this fire, because I knew I was supposed to be an entrepreneur. I knew it since college. Because I started the first company straight out of college, and I knew it, but I couldn't find my place and just trying to figure it out. And here I am 24 years later, third business, and you can't learn this stuff otherwise.
You still look 24.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Must have started really early.
Yeah. Very young entrepreneur.
This is actually the key, Lisa. The relationship we have with failure. One thing there is to always remember: you never fail. You either win or learn.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. So failure isn't something to be avoided at all costs. It's not something that's going to devalue you. It's just something you need in order to be able to make those next steps. Without this learning process, you wouldn't be effective making those next steps. You just be dabbling around.
Right.
Yep. Good stuff. Listen, Cheryl Davis, the star of our show, I saved you for last because we're going to take up the whole second half of our time together talking with Cheryl. So, Cheryl, you have some boots on the ground experience. And before we get into your experience with the Big Fix this week, you have some boots on the ground experience as it relates to young entrepreneurs. The beautiful thing about Cheryl's design company, and I absolutely love this. The beautiful thing about Cheryl's design company is that the people who work with her are related to her. Tell us a little bit about that and some of the challenges and some of the great things that you see working with a phenomenal set of young entrepreneurs.
Well, first of all, having the 5 children, it was frowned upon. From the moment I had my second, people watched me like, you don't sleep, right? And by the way, I'm from Trinidad, right? So I was married for like 17 years, and we had 5 kids. And as an art teacher, eventually I became an art teacher. Halfway through that journey, I encouraged my children, noticing what they were good at as children and toddlers and 5 years and whatever. Notice what they were good at. I encouraged them since I was an art teacher. I had a bias. Everybody will do art at some point in time and take it seriously at some point in time. They would have a skill. They would have something else that they could rely on. And they have taken it through secondary school. And my daughter, I have 4 sons and 1 daughter. And my daughter is right now pursuing graphic design at the degree level in Germany. So coming through that process, me teaching, being an art teacher, teaching them. So sometimes they would be doing it as an extra subject, mommy's coaching them, teaching on alongside. And I have a lot of respect in the art teaching fraternity. So some of the teachers would also rely on my expertise. Cheryl, I need to know. Cheryl, I need to know. How do we do? Right. So with that background, I coached everyone into art. And more specifically right now, we are a graphic design family. And coming out of that, everybody's finding a project to do because they're in this club, that society. So they are always tasked with doing something for somebody. So out of that voluntary experience, we have realized we have improved. Our skills have improved. Our skills have become marketable. And from there, we decided, here's what, let's do this. Share design. Let's do this. And share design is basically the initials of my name, Cheryl Davis. So share design.
Oh.
I love it. It's
like
excellent. And so with you
Amazing.
now working with your children, you are surrounded by young entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Is there anything that you are aiming to be intentional with sharing with them so that their experience on this entrepreneurial journey is better, for lack of a
Yes.
better word?
One, the power of the pen. Sometimes we take for granted what writing does. It empties our mind of what is going on in there and gives us the headspace to think and process. So therefore, when I encourage them to write things down, write things down. If it remains in our head, it remains in our head. We can't see it, we can't feel it, we can't interact with it as well as we could when it's written down. And not just writing down plans,
I think we lost Cheryl for a second.
I think
Right.
so.
Michelle's very lucky. Have you noticed how when her face hangs, she still looks amazing? When I hang, it goes. That's quite cool, actually.
But we got you back. So you were talking about emptying your mind and the power
yes.
of writing. Yep.
Yes. So and not just writing your plans, but not just writing for planning purposes, but writing desires, because God grants us the desires of our hearts. And sometimes just writing those things down, write it down, make it plain. And it's something that I practice. And this exercise that we have gone through this week is a fulfillment of something that I have written down. And the thing is, sometimes you don't even have to write to remember, just write it, put it in a place, and eventually you see dots start to connect, stars start to line up, as it were. And it's like, wow, I had this written down. So the importance of writing, because when you write, you take it seriously.
That's
That's
very good.
That's
very
good. And the reason why I was kind of stretching off camera is because this humongous notebook with all these tabs is something that my wife and I have done as well in terms of writing the vision and making it plain. That's good. And I can admit that's something that I learned way later in life, the importance of. Never really took that as seriously as it is, right? And there's different people call it different things. You hear about, manifesting on one end of the spectrum, and you hear, on the other end of the spectrum, you hear about planning and brainstorming and group process and that kind of thing. It's somewhere in the hodgepodge middle of that is the importance of actually writing down how you want to see your team.
Yes.
Mhm.
And it's the same
Yes.
process for design.
Yeah.
You can't get to design, you can't get to the end product if you haven't written, if you haven't drawn. And those are the same tools that we use to design and create our world. So if we can create for someone, we can definitely create our world using the same tools.
I love it. That's good.
Great practice.
Yeah, that's good. And that's good. And for anybody who's watching now or watching the replay, all of the tips that you've heard so far, hopefully you're taking notes. If not, you want to go back and watch this again to take some notes, because these are all valuable. This is not just valuable for the young entrepreneur. This is valuable for the entrepreneur, period.
Yes.
Things that you should be incorporating into your life, talking about mindset, talking about your familiarity, if you will, your relationship with failure, talking about consistent learning throughout the process, and being able to write things down are so key. Listen, so let's switch gears. You've been on the hot spot all week, so I think
Yes.
you're used to it at this point. So we're going to put you on the hot spot again and talk to you about the Big Fix. For those of you who are not familiar with what the Big Fix is a phenomenal opportunity for you to sit amongst some great individuals of all industries. And here's the goal. The goal is you get the opportunity to now share your business. You get to share your vision for your business. You get to share any pain points or challenges that you have, any questions that you're trying to answer. And the sole goal of the group is to pour into you, to give you ideas and suggestions and tips and tricks and tools that you can then implement to move the needle in your business. Cheryl had the opportunity of doing that this week and want to talk to you about your experience And I'll throw it up very generally in the air. Talk about your experience, and then we'll do some more specific things.
First off, the experience was the most significant part of that experience was the objectivity. And it was similar to a system of writing things down, because now that I've said it out, now that I've spoken it, people hear it, and people can look at it with fresh eyes and tell me things that were under my nose, right under my nose, right? So one of the biggest benefits I gleaned from this process was my family. And while other people in my earlier years would have sought to downplay and dampen my spirits when it came to the number of children I had and the jokes around it, they are turning out to be my biggest resource. How did I get all of these children interested in graphic design was one of the questions. And sometimes you don't realize how lucky, how fortunate, how blessed you are based on the gifts God has given you. And I appreciated turning the light on my family. I really appreciated that. And everyone has different skills. Everyone brings something to the table, actively or directly or indirectly. And together we grow. I actually had, and some of them are listening on now, I actually had some of them in the Big Fix, and they came away understanding, wow, they learned. Having a landing spot was another significant point. Start with one thing or a core offering and then branch out from there. So have a sticking point, and then you can tell your clients what I also offer. We also do. So we are going to be sitting down to a family meeting and bringing some structure. And we don't have to be good at everything. We just have to be able to sell the one good thing that we do.
Yeah.
Right?
Precisely.
Right. And then you just scale and
Yes.
add on, and
Yes. Yes. So I'm really grateful, really grateful. They ask me hard questions. So you are seeing holes in your process. So yes, you're a graphic designer, and where's your website? You're a graphic designer, you want to go international. Do you have a budget? You're a graphic designer, you want to grow a business. Do you have a timeline? You're a so all these things that because we're just doing, a project comes, we do it, a project,
Yeah.
and we are just moving, and we are not planning as we go, and we are not stepping back and taking some time out, being still to see where we need to take this company. So, and treating it like a side hustle when it actually indeed has global potential, underselling and underestimating the gift that lies in us.
Wow, that's a serious statement too. Underestimating the gift that lies in us. I think there are many of us that can probably attest to walking that path at some point or another, for some reason or another, just not realizing
Absolutely.
that passion is in us, and maybe underplaying it for one reason or another, right? Just not for the maybe fear of failure, maybe individuals saying, hey, people don't make a living doing that, whatever the case may be, right? There's some things that kind of put us in that stage. So that's awesome. That is awesome. Everybody in this grid was a part of Cheryl's experience this week. So if any of you want to jump in and talk about what you saw and maybe add on to what you poured into Cheryl, now would be a great time to do that.
I just saw somebody who has got a fantastic educational background. She's an educator, meaning this woman she came thinking that the Fiverr platform is a good platform and wanting to maybe ape that, and i.e. do something similar. But the reality is, of course, that she can do something better. And I think it was Gower that
Precisely.
said presenting the value of why you would get somebody of your caliber giving the story of the children, how beautiful it is that we have the Swiss Family Robinson amongst us tonight. People forget that because everybody in this world is off doing their own thing, all the time. It's always about me, 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 me. They forget that actually we are so much stronger together as a community. I talked to you about Cheryl about that song. We are family. You see, you've got to. You can sing a tune exactly. Let's pick it up. So, yeah, I'm not going to sing to you again, ladies and gentlemen. It's okay. It's live here from the Oasis. Oh, screen. What happened? Anyway, but we used to laugh at ourselves. But no, but the family thing was beautiful because it's not done very often now, and it's always about, hey, I'm wonderful. Here's me. Everything is fantastic. But I think. The for me the learning was actually what you came in thinking would be your weak point turns out to be your strength. Isn't that amazing? Because I bet you that's what happens in big fixes, because you took a real live vibe for the audience, and it was amazing, and the kids were there.
And you need to use it and abuse it in any way you can. There's loads of ways how to harness the power of that. Having 5 highly skilled artists is absolutely priceless in a house when the house needs repainting, for example.
That's good.
Support. And the evidence is behind me.
I was just about to say, I love the accent wall. I love the accent wall behind you. That's awesome.
The support. 5 highly skilled piss artists. It's not so great to have around, but hey, they can do their own art types. But great.
We're truly blessed because the support that you have was so you could feel it. With your family that supported you this morning, and you could feel the support, like you are so not alone, which is what a lot of entrepreneurs don't have that kind of support, and it's familial, so it's
Precisely.
It's a deeper type of support. But to even be in the big fix and see how you had other backups that can answer questions for you and with you and provide additional detail of what was that project, and go da 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 da, and and just have you like that is such a find. It's such a treasure to be able to have that, and it's authentic, and you could feel it through all the stuff that's
I agree.
into the laptops and the phones. Like you could feel it. It was real.
And there's another aspect to it. One thing which is underway now, and you don't see it, you don't recognize it, because you're right in the thick of it, is you are growing as an entrepreneur. What's happening, your kids are around you and they are witness to that process while they are undergoing their transformation process. This is literally compressing the amount of time to get them the same results you can get on an enormous scale. Because they are at an age where simply they can see the transformation process, the experience and expertise that's coming from it. They can directly get it from you because you have gotten those lessons, grown based on your experience and expertise of age. And simply they have a mentor around them all the time.
Yes.
And they can teach. They can actually learn from you all the time. This is absolutely priceless. Often what happens when entrepreneurs are going through this process, the families are sidelined. And when years later they want to repeat the same thing with the kids, a lot of time was wasted already. So with you, this is, imagine, take a look at it from the process of creation of generational wealth.
Yeah.
Like you can, you have two generations creating and working together on generational wealth at the same time. There's no generation of time between these events.
Yes.
So this is actually amazing. You working together and everyone being focused and determined is going to get you some crazy results when it starts stacking up in a few years' time.
Yes. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I think it's wonderful. I love that you had a good experience, that you came away with some things that like you said were right under your nose, and some things that you can now take and put into practice. And for those of you who are watching, we're talking about the Big Fix, and the Big Fix is an opportunity. We're talking about helping people navigate the business landscape. One significant component of helping people to navigate the business landscape is to get them around other folks who not only have walked the path that they are walking, but have their best interest at heart. Because it's one thing to get around a bunch of entrepreneurs, right? It's one thing to get around a bunch of entrepreneurs. It's another thing to get around a bunch of entrepreneurs who actually want to see you win. Yes. And that's what Love Entrepreneurs is. Love Entrepreneurs is a fellowship of like-minded individuals, business owners, entrepreneurs, with the sole goal of helping ordinary people build extraordinary businesses. And we do it through a signature dish called the Big Fix. That's what you heard Cheryl talking about. The Big Fix is your opportunity to get around some folk that will give you direction, give you guidance, ask you the tough questions, and pour into you ideas that will allow you to now walk away with some things that help you and help benefit the trajectory of your business. Now, you have two options after that. First of all, let me say this before I give you the two options. The Big Fix is free. Let's just have a moment of silence for that.
Nothing.
Now, all of you who understand the mastermind process know that masterminds can get extremely expensive. I have seen masterminds anywhere from $100 to $100,000. Now, the Big Fix is free. So let's just get that out of the way. You need to schedule your Big Fix ASAP. Yes. You can contact anybody you see on the screen, or you can send a message to me wherever what platform you're watching this on right now. So it's free. That's number one. Number two, once you get inundated with all of these ideas, suggestions, tools, tips, and ideas, you have two options. One, you can take everything that you learn, go off and be great. You're gonna get a detailed report. You're gonna get videos of your sessions. You can take all of that, go off and be great, implement on your own, or you can work within the group. The group is also part of a larger group called Silver Tree, where you can now do business with the individual. So let me give you a great example real quick. Let's say, for example, in the Big Fix, it comes out that you need marketing. Within Silver Tree, there's somebody who does marketing. Here's the wonderful catch. The wonderful catch is, and I had to put wonderful in front of it because normally when you say catch, you kind of start like, hey, hold on, what's up with that? Here's the wonderful catch. It is that you can do business with that person who will help you with your marketing. And let's say they charge, just use a round number, for example. Let's say they charge $1,000. Everything we're going to do for you right now is going to cost you $1,000. Here's the beauty of Silver Tree. The beauty of Silver Tree is that person will say to you, listen, you know what? Give me half of that in silver. So now you're only coming out of your pocket $500. You can take that other $500 that you would have paid and put that towards something else, or save it for something that you feel like you need to save it for. That's the beauty of the network. So those are the two options that you have. You can come work within the network. It's a wonderful group of individuals and business owners, or you can go off and be great. Neither one is wrong. We would prefer you come in with the network because we love to bring in individuals that are like-minded, that are looking in the right direction, that have service at the core of what they do. Because all of us are in different industries, but the beautiful thread that connects us is that in our heart, we want to serve. We want to see you win. We want to see you thrive. We want to see you move the needle in your business. And that is what Love Entrepreneurs does. So we need you that are listening to share this, you that are watching to share this, you that are watching to schedule your big fix today. That's what we need from you. All right. We got Barry Tate in the comments. Barry said, Peter raises such a great point. Imagine the environment the grandchildren will be born into. I thought the same thing, Barry. One in which entrepreneurship is discussed at the dinner table, at the family gatherings. Those children will understand at an early age the concept of stronger together, building together. I thought the same thing, Barry, because you know what's crazy? Many of us experience the exact opposite. We experience the fact that family don't want nothing to do with what we doing. They don't even believe in what we doing.
Like, looking at you sideways when you come up with, hey, let's talk about some business. Like,
right. They're not even trying to hear that, right? And so, Cheryl, I love the fact that you have that. There's a phenomenal story, and you and I talked about. I mentioned to you that telling that story is going to be a significant piece of content for you that we're going to work on at some point. So, listen, thank you guys for being here. We're coming down to the end of this segment. You all got to meet Cheryl. She's doing great things. Cheryl, how can folk get in contact with you?
Well, I am on LinkedIn, one.
Okay.
And I will put the rest of my contact information on LinkedIn. Right. I'm also on IG, Share Design with a Z. I am on, my email address. I'll put my contact information on LinkedIn. But IG, yes, I'm there. And you will be finding me soon in other places.
Indeed, because that came out of the big fix.
Yes.
That came out of the big fix. And to our illustrious cast, weekly cast, Peter, Russell, Eleri Cosslett, and Lisa Brown, and Rob Howze, who had another engagement to go to. Thank you for pouring in your knowledge as you do every week. Now, we have what has become a tradition to end the show. And that tradition is Lisa Brown taking us through an exercise that is important. And so I'm going to hand it over to Lisa.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Oliver. What I want to first say is what Cheryl has been doing, writing and getting creative information out of the mind and onto paper. That's great. Get those things out of you. When it comes, get it out. And I want to say also typing works, because I'm someone, I have my phone a lot. I use the notepad in my phone for a lot of things, because sometimes I just get information and I'm nowhere near any type of writing utensil. So this is my everything notepad, and whatever the thoughts are, it goes in here so I can get to it later. I can email it to myself and put it someplace else later. But this, you always have this with you. So, have your notepad option in here and use that. If you don't have a pen or paper nearby, it still works, because what you're trying to do is get it out, and then you look at it, and then eventually gets into your subconscious mind. That's what's really going on there. So just to end with something that's fruitful and that can help you in your future and your everyday is oxygenation. Just breathing enough to bring enough oxygen into your body, because we need it, as well as we need more sun. I know they have us, don't go out in the sun. Sun's not good for you, but we're solar powered. We kind of need it. we need sun. We don't get enough as it is. And now, in some parts of the world, we're in our colder months. So now it's going to be even more difficult to be able to get that natural vitamin D. But, whenever you can, make sure you do that. So I'll just have you all just take in some deep breaths, and just feel what it feels like when you breathe fully. Not this thing we do every day, but to actually stop when you have a moment at some point in your day, even in the morning before you even start your day. That would be best. When you wake up, before you even step on the ground, think about your day, think about how you would like it to go, think about all the things that you're thankful for. Just flood yourself with positivity in the morning before you wake. Just flood it. And then take some deep breaths in. So we're going to just do that now. Just 5 seconds of an inhale, 5 seconds of a hold, and 5 seconds of an exhale, and then 5 seconds after the exhale. All right, so everybody just relax, loosen up a little bit, crack your neck a little, move things around. Because we get energy stuck in all sorts of places in our bodies, right? Loosen up a little bit. So I'd ask you just take in a deep breath. Hold it 5 seconds. Exhale. Hold it 5 seconds out. Breathe normally. But whenever you can, just give yourself a moment. Doing errands, you get into the car, before you drive off, just stop. Just every breath you take, 20% goes to your brain. And just think about the breath that you just did versus your normal breath. And think about how little oxygen your brain is getting versus how much it just received by purposely, consciously breathing. So we just have to do little things. It's self-care on the most basic of scales, breathing. The automatic process we don't think about. We have to go out of our way to think about breathing in order to fully get ourselves the amount of oxygen we need, right? So, some things our bodies do are automatic, thank God. Because, to have to remind yourself to breathe every time, that would be strenuous. And that would take all day, all the time. So thank goodness for the automatic processes. But sometimes we got to step in and just intercede a little bit and do a little bit more for the greater good of our bodies. So I'll just leave you with that this week. And just stay positive. Flood yourself with positivity. What you put your attention to, you get more of. It's not a joke. It is serious. So think about where you spend your energy and your concentration, and think about how much you do it. And if it's on the positive scale or if it's on the negative side of the scale. Well, if it's on the negative side and you're focused on that, expect more of that. Expect it. It's just the way it works. If it's positive and you have concentration 100% on positive, expect more of that. It doesn't matter what it is. It will behoove you for it to be more positive than negative. I'm just saying, unless you like negative, because some people love it, but they're chemically dependent on the stress hormones. But that's a whole nother story.
We got to get away from that. We got to get away from that. Pierre, I see you. Thank you. Pierre said, use sunblock if you are at risk, but just get outside. Tidal volume versus vital capacity is what we just did. We got Dr. Pierre in the house. Thank you for being here. Doc, thank you for being a part of this and for those comments as well. Listen, we're going to end this show. This is the Love Entrepreneurs show. If you want to schedule your big fix, or if you don't want to be in the hot seat, but you just want to come and contribute,
come hang out.
Again, you can come and hang out with us. Reach out to anybody you see on the screen. You can contact any of us on LinkedIn, or you can send me a direct message on whatever platform you are watching this on right now. Thank you, guys. Hang out for just a moment after the show so I can say a few words to you. But for those of you that are watching or watching the replay, again, share this with your network. We're talking about entrepreneurship. We're pouring into the lives of others who are on this journey, because at Love Entrepreneurs, we want to see you win. We want to see you come away with an extraordinary business. We have the tools, we have the people, we have the atmosphere to make that happen. So we'll see you next week, same time, same place. Have a phenomenal rest of your week. We'll see you soon.
Hi, I'm Fiona Clark. I'm the Synergizer, and I've been an entrepreneur for quite a few years now. And through that journey, my business has developed, it's changed, it's evolved, as all business does. But what I found was most helpful for me during the big fix was just getting a different perspective on what was possible that I hadn't even thought about. I think there are definitely areas in business where we really excel within our own knowledge and our own mastery, if you like, and there are other areas where we need help. So if you are looking to evolve your business, grow your business, and you are an entrepreneur, the biggest gift you can give to yourself really is to collaborate with other entrepreneurs who understand business, understand the journey, but also are ready to support you where you need it. And this is what this group does. So if you're looking to evolve your business, to grow your business, highly recommend you join.